So we will call the meeting to order at 7:15. Let's stand and say the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I just love seeing Mr. Kelly up there on the wall. So such a nice man. Okay. All right. Well, here we are. We'll start with our old business. So we have actually April action items from two meetings. So from our April 18th meeting, the action items were that I would email Tom Bolin to close out the PO and Jen Jobin would email the minutes to him. So that was done. The library board of trustees would have a retreat. We did. And the Yvette would get possible dates for the energy audit, which I saw were in your director's report. So we can review that then. And then we also had, if I can find my minutes, at the retreat, there were a few action items also. Let's see if I can find them. I think they were all mine, so I should know them. Okay. Yvette was going to reach out to Iris for dates, which we just mentioned. I did contact Deb Hoadley about strategic planning, and she was thinking that it would be possible for her to come to either our August or July meeting, and she could send us a timetable ahead of time to give us an idea of what it would be. So if you want to just take a look at your calendars and see which one you think would be better, I would love for her to be able to come and talk to us about this so that we can hit the ground running in the fall versus putting off having her come in. If she comes in September or October, then I feel like we're pushing it more. And then all of a sudden you're hitting the holiday seasons. Like there's never going to be a time that's not busy. So I don't know if people already know if they'll be here for both of those meetings or not. Um, she was ahead of me. She had the dates already. She said I could come to this meeting or that meeting. So, um,
For August 15th, right?
yeah.
Yep.
Do people have a preference?
I personally like the 18th better.
July 18th?
Yeah,
Have
but
her
I
come?
mean, it's,
Okay.
I really don't have,
Okay.
it's just,
Why don't I reach out to her? I'll see if that date would work for her, and also how long, like just to give us an idea of within the context of our meeting. We don't usually have a ton going on in July, so I think that would be fine. So, okay. So I will put our first action item for the night. It's I will reach out to Deb to see if July 18th works for her to come to our regular meeting and how long it would be. So, okay, great. Um, Another action item for me was, it's not on here, but I was going to reach out to SMP, and I did send Jason an email just a couple of days ago, just kind of saying that we were hoping to meet with Paul McCallie soon to talk about possibilities of moving forward with investigating the MYA site. And then I just asked Jason to give us maybe an idea of what the next steps would be on their end, like once we are moving through this process. And I'm not even sure he can give me a clear idea, but I just wanted to reach out to him and sort of get the conversation going. And then the only other thing was that Yvette was going to post the board vacancy on the MPL website. I saw it was in the newsletter that went out or the email. So is it on the website also? Great. Okay. So those were our action items. Did I forget anything? Is there anything? No? Okay, great.
I don't think so.
So
I didn't put on here either that, for me to reach out to Becky about scheduling the room.
Yes,
And
thank
I
you.
did that, so we're all set.
okay, great. Yeah, I saw your email that the room was all set. So thank you for doing that. The other things under old business were SMP, which I just mentioned, strategic plan, which we just talked about, and then we have our building maintenance project list, which is always there. So, Yvette, is there anything on there that you'd like to call to our attention? Oh, and the circulation desk. Yeah, has everybody been into the library to see how it was
No,
moved?
not yet.
Yeah, I was in the other day, and I was actually like, I had some concerns about how it would be with the door, and I was so pleasantly surprised. So yeah.
We measured it.
Yeah, no, I knew that you did, but you're just like, I don't know. And then when you walked in, I was like, oh, I really like the setup. So
Yeah, when whoops, we had worked on it on paper and then, taped the floor and tried to imagine it and had the staff stand behind the reference desk. And do all this planning. And then when it moved, it was like, oh, this is even better than we thought.
Mm.
So
It's a
It's
beautiful
good.
piece of furniture, and to have it be so functional is great.
yes.
So sorry to interrupt before you could say anything. I just was like, oh, first thing on the list, and I saw it.
Yeah. The only other thing really that's happening is the granite steps are being worked on right now. Um, the granite, I think it's like an overlay or their pieces.
They look great.
They look fantastic.
They look so good.
Oh my gosh.
I drove by
Yeah.
and I was like, oh.
Yeah, that's happening until Wednesday. So the last piece of it is tomorrow, and I'm still not totally sure when the railings come in. That's another, final piece of it. But yeah, they look so good.
They look so good.
Yeah, they
So
started.
it's been a
it
long
yesterday,
process,
so-
and I'm glad it's been
Yeah.
done correctly and that everything was taken care of. So,
Yeah.
I should also mention on the project list is the elevator, and we did go before the town council, and they voted to give us the $184,000 from our capital reserve fund to put towards the elevator. So that's on the list also. Okay, great. Thank you. The energy audit, do we want to look at dates for Iris now or wait till your report?
No, I think you can.
Okay, sure. So let's look at the dates that Iris is able to come to go over the energy audit so that we can move forward with making a plan for the RFP for the HVAC. There's a lot of steps in every process, right? So let's see. They were in your Yvette's director's report
It's on page 2.
on page 2.
Is there a time of day that she was looking at?
Well, I was telling her nighttime
Okay.
because of
Yeah,
well,
I just wanted to make sure.
work times for people.
Yeah.
So we're thinking 7.
I can't do Wednesdays, so June 7th wouldn't be an option for me either.
I can do any. If it's in the evenings, I can do any of them.
Okay.
23rd.
I think they all work for me, any of those Tuesdays.
Yeah. 23rd, 36th, or the 6th.
Yeah, I haven't.
23rd. That's next week, right?
Yeah.
Probably can't do that one, but I could do the next week, the 30th.
I can't do 30th.
Okay. So how about Tuesday, June 6th? Let's see if that would the 6th work. Okay. We'll put that in and things come up. We'll just talk if there's a problem. And that would be at the library.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Okay. And so that's the energy audit and the library board of trustees. We did have our retreat. I hope you found it was useful and that you learned some of the stuff really about the financials that Janet went over. So
That's all.
yeah.
If you have any questions, just ask. It's all
Thank
good.
you.
Okay. All right. Moving on to new business. We have the general ledger, invoice manifest, open POs, and CIP project list. Obviously, on the open POs, there was an error.
I
So,
haven't. Joanne ran a new one.
okay, great. Yes, I think we all were looking it over and had a little, what's that? I thought it was a typo, but then I was like, okay. So this all just makes more sense. And some POs were closed, which is always great to see too. Great.
Now, the front steps,
Mm-hmm.
with the 30,000.
Yep.
That's actually over what was actually budgeted. Is that really just as a placeholder?
I don't know if I can answer that. I just know we're paying it in like 3 parts. And I've signed 2 invoices that are 9,000 and change.
Okay.
So I would have to go back and
Okay.
really look at what the quote was.
Okay. All right. I'm sure people will take a look at that. And if there's more questions, we can just get back to you or Joanne. If you
Yep.
could just let Janet know about that?
Well, it's just on your building list, actually. That says 27,745.
27 what?
27,745.
Okay.
So, you're-
Oh, yeah, maybe she rounded it up to make it
yeah,
round.
that's why I was wondering.
I'll find out.
Okay. Yeah, don't round up. Tell us exactly what
I
it
don't-
is.
I would have to look.
Yeah. Okay. All right, great. Any questions about the general ledger or the invoice manifest? No? Okay. All right, moving on to policy. Yvette brought us two things. There's the meeting room policy, and then also it looks like there's a change to the circulation policy.
Mm-hmm. So the meeting room policy, oh, yeah. With the meeting room policy, I emailed the director of the Lane Library in Hampton, and she said, the version of their policy that they have online is the version that they're using, because I looked at that and it didn't have any of the language that we were wondering about. So they said, she said, we cut things Primex suggested. They'd been requiring the $100 million insurance certificate in the before COVID times, and it had too many barriers to use. And they just really thought that was working against their mission of trying to have people use the library.
Sure.
So they also said that with the community using the library for meetings, they saw it as part of the library's work, and therefore they were covered by the insurance. And they worked on it back in 2007, and they had some back and forth with their staff attorney. So the changes that they made had legal review. So I just copied theirs with the things that they had omitted. And what you're seeing that I presented to you was Lane's. That's on their website that they use.
So could you just give us some background about why we're updating the policy? Like, I mean, I know we update the policy regularly, but like
Yeah.
there's a lot in here. Like, so.
Why I mean, you look at it trying to be in a cycle of, 2 years.
I know, but like usually the policies have some minimal changes. Like I was just wondering why this one seemed to have like.
I'd have to go back in my notes to be honest. But
Okay.
I think, when we have people request the meeting room, we wanted to make the policy clearer so that people understand they can't have, a retirement party there or a birthday party there or something like, a family event. That's not the appropriate use of the library. And then we also had to take out anything that was referring to COVID and COVID restrictions. We have a different online meeting room reservation form, so that also has to go, and they have to be in sync. So that was something also that should be done. Yeah, I want to say a lot of it is just making sure people understand you can't book the meeting room for a personal event.
Okay.
That was really, we do turn away people who ask.
Okay.
So
Do you feel that the attorney needs to look at this again, or?
I can if you want.
I mean, we don't usually have them review most of our policies. I'm just that I was curious because I know that there had been like lots of conversation about this one. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, the meeting room can get complicated if it is connected to a program that is, that could be seen as something that's charged, where, if a group I mean, but they're covered still, I
Yeah,
mean, you
it's
still
all-
have to
it's like-
have
Yep.
a resident who is the connection between a group. But if it's, what we're seeing in across the nation is groups are trying to book meeting rooms for publicity, just to stir up, stir the pot, and that's really not the use of the room either. So, I think if it's clearer that,
Okay.
it's their use for the residents, something, that is, I don't want to say, normal, but it's just, it's very clear now who can use the meeting rooms and why, and I think we took out some some stuff that was a little wordy about, you know, the room is called this and has this many chairs. That's fine, but that really deterred from the meaning of the use of the room.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Yvette about the updated policy? Okay. Is there a motion on the board? I forget what the language was Janet wanted me to use right now.
Remember.
What's
Okay.
the pleasure of the board?
Yes.
Something like that.
It was something like that. Okay.
I can make a motion to accept the updated meeting room policy.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, great. Is there any further discussion? Okay. Seeing none. All in favor? Okay. 400. Thank you, Yvette.
Okay. The other one is a small change that is just on the first page, which is why you only have the first page. We had a patron come in to use their library card, but they no longer lived in Merrimack because they had recently moved to Nashua. Nashua is not part of the consortium, so they need to get an out-of-town non-resident library card for $100. And they said, but my Merrimack card is still valid because it's 3 years. And it's like, okay, but you're not here anymore, so you're not valid, you know. So she just thought to have some clarifying language here is, you know, it says that people who live, work, attend school, or own property in Merrimack are eligible for a card, but she thought this language was more clear about that. And of course, a patron can come in and not tell us that you moved to Nashua, and you still have a year out on your card, but if you tell us,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then
yeah.
then kind of we need to go by the policy.
Yep.
So
This is fine.
That's
I'll make a
clarifying.
motion that we accept the changes to the circulation policy.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Okay, so all those in favor? 400. Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Those were the two policies, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we have the New Hampshire Library Trustee Association Conference update. Thank you, Jen. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Okay, yeah, so I attended last Tuesday, and I thought it was great. They had some really, at least the ones that I attended, the breakout sessions. So I'll give you kind of the Cliff Notes version. I shared with you like all my notes, but I won't go through all that. So the keynote was Martin Garner, who's the director of the Amherst College Library, and he talked about the First Amendment, fighting censorship, and he was great, really kind of charismatic, and there were some kind of things we had to do at our tables, but it wasn't too uncomfortable. And so basically kind of my takeaways were for trustees, we need to know the policies which we have in place and the procedures for if somebody makes a challenge, and really for us to support our staff in that, in those policies. So the first breakout session I went to was Grow Your Library with Successful Grant Writing. And this was excellent. It was a panel that had a rep from the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation and the director of the Peterborough Town Library, and then the Peterborough Town Library Board of Trustees chair. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with their, they did a building project in 2021 where they raised a whole bunch of money. They got 10% of their money. So it was an $8.5 million build. They had a 10% they got in grant funding, which doesn't sound like a lot, but normally for grants, you'll get 3 to 5% of that. So they were terrific. The woman who's the chair now did, was a volunteer at the time and did a whole bunch of grant writing for them. So it was interesting to see how they really support their library, the trustees, how involved they are in grant writing. So I did want to talk to Yvette, but I haven't had time yet before, so I won't ask you questions now, but maybe you and I can connect, because I thought it was really interesting because, as we know, grant writing takes up a lot of staff time, so it's really hard for you to, you know, put in that time and effort when there's grant money out there that we could be getting. So they actually have volunteers that will sort of vet things and go through and search for grants, kind of do that first process, and then hand it off to staff members. What else did I want to say about it? Some of them, you can't be a municipal entity and get them, but if you're a 501c3, so it could be the Friends could apply or the Development Fund could apply. I shared with you the link to, they actually put together a little book on their whole build process from start to finish. So I shared a link for that with you guys. So it was kind of not two parts, kind of like two things they talked about throughout the whole thing. One was just kind of grants for just programs and, you know, any special thing. And then the other was for their building project. So at some point, this might be a good opportunity for us to connect with their Library of Trustees, Board of Trustees, and talk to them about how they went through the whole process. So that was great. So good takeaway is that we can, you know, find ways to support staff in grant writing, and then, you know, maybe pull in Friends or the Development Fund for some of that as well. And then the last breakout I went to was Goffstown Courageous Community Conversations. Can we talk about race? And I wasn't sure what this was even about, but they did, I'm sure you're familiar with it. I think it was 2019. They had a whole series, mainly about race, but a lot of different community conversations. And they had a chock full calendar where they partnered with St. A's, and they partnered with a church. One of the big reasons, because they don't have much meeting space. So they had like 500 people at one of their events at St. A's. It was really terrific, and I shared with you guys a couple of the links. They still have information on their website about what they did, and they're going to be holding a whole online series coming up in June. And if people are interested, you don't have to be a Goffstown resident. They have all of these over Zoom. And my takeaway again was just support our staff. That we're like, I certainly support this sort of programming, and just letting our staff know that we support that kind of programming too, and we'll stand behind it.
That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions for Jen? Okay, great. Thank you for going. I appreciate that. Okay, director's report.
All right. So we received a donation from Janet and Bruce Angus in the memory of Janet Segedy, who passed away on April 27th. Janet had worked for the library. Janet Segedy had worked for the library, and her obituary asked that in lieu of flowers, donations could be made in her memory to the library. So the donation was $50. Want to vote to accept that?
Yep. Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the gift from Janet and Bruce Angus in memory of Janet Segedy.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you very much to Janet and Bruce.
So I don't know, Deb, if you knew Janet Segedy.
She wasn't working full time when I was there, but she was doing something with one of the papers, I think, at the time, maybe
Okay.
writing stuff, and she would write stuff about the library.
Okay,
So.
because I have her obituary if anyone wanted to see it.
Oh,
but
I
it's
think
online.
I did read it, but if anybody else would like to see it, we can pass it along.
We received a donation of a board game called Time Stories from Samuel Ellis. We'd like to add this to the Library of Things collection.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the donation of the board game Time Stories from Samuel Ellis.
Second.
All those in favor? Great, thank you very much.
And we received a donation of a book called Good Inside, A Guide to Becoming the Parent You Want to Be by Dr. Becky Kennedy from Becca Ouellette. Kathy's been working with Becca through the Southern New Hampshire Pandemic Parents Group that we host.
Okay.
We'd like to add that to the collection.
I'll make a motion that we accept Good Inside, A Guide to Becoming the Parent You Want to Be by Dr. Becky Kennedy from Becca Willett.
Second.
You got it. Okay. All those in favor? Great. Thank you very much.
And we received an anonymous donation of a Zodiac Signs 500-piece puzzle. We'd like to add this to the Library of Things collection. It's kind of like this, very colorful,
Cool. Okay,
probably challenging.
yeah, I was going to say, I'll make a motion that we accept the anonymous donation of a Zodiac sign 500-piece puzzle.
Second.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Great, 400. Thank you to everyone.
Okay, so moving on to personnel, Casey Bernard has submitted her resignation. Full-time staff are required to give 4 weeks' notice, but I've negotiated with her to have her last day be this Friday, and I'm going to pass you her PAR.
All right, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of Casey Bernard.
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion or questions for Yvette? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you. Just for the new trustees information, so we have to always accept when there's new hires or when people resign. A couple of years ago, the trustees voted that for a new hire, that I could sign the PAR so that they could come on board and we could move forward, and then the trustees would vote to accept it later on, just so that we could move the process forward. So,
Okay, I also have received a resignation from Ben Pittman. His last day will be May 25th.
okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the resignation of Ben Pittman.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Thank you, 400.
So Ben has enjoyed working with us. He's a student and has been at the circulation desk, but he wants to go do something else now. He may be scooping ice cream.
So,
Which
yep.
I can't fault him for that. Okay, and then we were looking over the time clock, and I have a PAR for Claire Sullivan. Claire Sullivan has worked with us for a couple of summers in the Youth Services Department as a summer aide. She's a student also and will not be coming back because she is looking for things closer to her major.
All right, so I will make a motion that we accept the resignation of Claire Sullivan.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. All right.
Also, I want to let you know that Reggie Bourne is graduating with his MLS degree, his Master of Library Science degree, this Friday.
Oh,
He's
congratulations. to
finished
Reggie.
his classes May 1st, and now he's gonna walk.
Great.
So
That's awesome.
we're very proud of him.
Great.
Yeah.
Reggie worked for me when I was in the children's room. He was like an aide. So he's worked with us on and off since high school, and now he's graduating with masters. So I don't know, Janet, if you want to look at the staff recognition
Okay.
stuff and
Yeah.
maybe get him something. I don't know what they are, but and then I wrote in my director's report we had we wanted to offer a candidate an opening, but we don't. They withdrew. And I know we're going to have a larger discussion hopefully next week, and I haven't gotten dates yet for you. So we can, talk about all of those things in detail. But last month, Janet, you had pointed out the library assistant position that was still in the budget.
Mhm.
That's the job description I sent.
Okay.
So I want to know if we can post that.
So, just when Yvette referenced having another discussion, just
Mhm.
because with the desk moving to one desk, with Casey leaving, with just a couple different moving parts, the budget was set up
Yep.
for a certain structure, and it's fine. But we wanted to make sure that how it read on the budget and what each line item was a person that they were looking at, and so we just thought that Janet and I, as the finance committee, would sit down with her and just make sure that everything sort of was in alignment, that we all had the same information going forward so that we were in sync. So I'm not concerned about the funding of it. It's just making sure that this open position is the one that's being filled at this rate and stuff like that because of the
Right.
impact on the budget going forward.
Yep.
So,
That position starts July 1.
Okay.
So I don't know if how that affects anything.
Well, would you be okay if we posted it now? Do you want to have a start date of July 1 or?
Well, you'd still have Casey's position.
Yes. Casey's position, I have a draft of a job description that I figured we would talk about next week.
Okay.
That I noted in here would be moving slightly up to librarian.
I don't know.
Okay, we can talk
Let me
about
just say
it.
it that way.
No,
Mhm.
we can talk about it next week.
Okay.
It's fine.
and we'll
Okay.
let you know all the stuff that
Sure.
we discussed, but I think it's more just, this is what they're looking for. How does this align with what we have?
Yes.
And that sort of thing. So,
And yeah, and I mean, we've talked a lot about coverage in the process of moving the desk. And with a couple of people leaving who are in that rotation, that it's challenging because now we have openings that we have to figure out how to fill just with current staff. But I think when we talk about it in the library, we're looking at hours on the floor, and the budget is just, it's a pot of money to a department. So it is a little bit different, and it does tend to expand and narrow down and get shuffled when people, a lot of time, especially if we have students, then it's like, oh, my hours are going to be this now. And then people will trade hours and pick up more and drop. So it does move a lot, and that is, you wouldn't know about that as well as we know about that in the building.
So I guess my question for you then is, without making any major changes, without doing anything that we would be like meeting next week and going, oh my gosh, why did we say yes to that? I don't want to put you in a position where you can't post a job and then you have to wait for us to meet again because of that. Do you know what I mean? Because they're changing the job description. So that is worrisome to me. I don't want to put you in a position that
Yeah.
you don't have our authority till June to post something. That doesn't make sense.
Well, we can, Ben's position we can post
Mhm.
because that's a wash. It's reflected differently in the budget, but I have spreadsheets about that from Alyssa and Joanne, so I'm confident that it's covered. But that would be an easy one to
Okay.
cover. That's the easiest one,
Okay.
I think. I didn't double check this current budget. I was looking forward to the other budget. So,
Well, I guess on the other hand, if we meet next week and we're confident, we are meeting June 6th.
Yeah.
So we could do it at least a week, ahead of time. But I just don't want. I know it's hard. I know it's just hard to find people. I know it's hard to go through the
Yeah.
process, and I don't want to set you back.
I know.
Well, I still want to be thoughtful about
know.
how we're doing it.
I
Can
So-
we
totally
do a
agree.
special meeting to, after you guys meet, if.
Well,
if
we
we're
can't meet
feeling
this
it's
week.
urgent.
None of us can meet this week.
Yeah, it'll
so
have to be next week.
it has to be next
anyways,
week
so then-
anyway, just for practical reasons.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead and post
I think
Ben.
if we needed to. I mean, if we meet next week and everything looks great, if we needed to, we could have a
We
short
could
meeting.
do
Okay.
a 10-minute meeting or something to
Okay.
approve.
All right. Okay. I think like I said, I think it's good for us to get together
Yeah.
and go over this, make sure we're all in alignment. I just don't
That
want to put you in a
sounds good.
position where you have to wait, weeks.
Right.
So, okay.
I know.
Great.
And when we post a job, we'll post it until open, until filled. And it depends on how quickly, it depends on if people are looking for a job. So we've posted jobs and it doesn't get filled and I take it down. So it's, it is what it is.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So we'll post Ben's and then I will find out from the others what is a good.
Sounds great.
Okay.
Okay.
As far as a gift for Reggie, can we just approve a dollar amount?
Sure.
I don't know what you have in your chart. You must have, because we've done this before,
Yeah,
but I don't know what
it's
it is.
But I don't think there is. The only person I think that's graduated has been Erifa, and that's
I
been a
don't
while. So,
Yeah.
it's-
So we'd like to get him a gift card or something
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we buy Reggie Bourne a gift card for $100 to the
Second.
place of. Okay, there we go. Is there any discussion about that? Okay, all those in favor? Okay, great.
yeah, just if you
Yeah.
can find out where you'd like, or you know what, I might have a list from before.
Okay,
I'll look.
okay,
Like from Christmas, he might have said I want it from something.
Perfect. Great.
probably true.
Okay. All right. What else from the director's report? I feel like staff just kind of bogged us down because there's so many ins and outs.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. No news on those grants yet.
but it'd be great if once we've met with Iris, we've gone through the energy audit, like all those things will help support us in applying for any grants. So that's good.
Yes. Youth Services put in a request
Mhm.
to buy a heavy-duty collapsible wagon for use at outreach.
Yeah, I think that makes total sense
sense.
that they would want to do
I
that.
think it makes total
So,
sense too.
yeah. Yeah, I make a motion that the Youth Services Department be given the $129.98 of passport money for the purchase of a heavy-duty collapsible wagon.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? I'm kind of, thank you, 400. I'm wondering how they've been doing this for so
I
long.
know.
Like, how do you haul
Right.
things around? So
You make
I'm glad-
multiple trips.
Yeah, no, this is much better, much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the most recent thing they went to, they noticed that other people had wagons.
They're like,
Yeah.
why do we not have a
I don't have a
wagon?
collapsible wagon. So, thank you. She'll be very happy about that. I told her about the steps. So the granite is yesterday, today, and tomorrow. That should be finished. I'm just looking for things that were underlined. Paging module. There's no update on that. Meeting room I did. Yeah, we received the refund of the prepaid puns from Midwest Tape. That was the hoopla money. And that was given to the finance department to redeposit in the accounts.
That'll go into materials, right?
I assume so, yeah. So the ALZ, the hot dogs for ALZ event is the 22nd. The library's been invited by Bob Bergen, who organizes it, to have a table for free under a canopy, which is the library's canopy. But does anyone want to come join me? It's all day, kind of. It's 10:30 to 4.
Can you tell me what day again that is? I'm sorry.
It's a Thursday.
What day is? I mean,
I think it's
where
a
is
third.
this?
Oh, this is great. This is in the parking lot between the school and the
And-
church.
yeah, on a
Oh.
Thursday?
Have you not gone? You haven't gone to this?
No.
This is a
no.
riot. This is a great event, and
Yeah, it's
it's my
Thursday.
annual hot dog day. But so
On June
um,
22nd.
Hot Dogs for Alzheimer's is one of the, if not the biggest money raiser for Alzheimer's in the state. And Bob has been doing it for years. And last year I let him borrow some folding tables from the library because he was just trying to really get, all of the town departments involved, and people have tables and everyone comes out to buy hot dogs. And it's kind of like Old Home Day where you can, sit around and have your hot dogs and meet people, and the police are there and the fire department's there, and he makes it fun. Like it's an event. And it's a great cause. We have, I have a packet from the Alzheimer's Association to do a display during June, which is Alzheimer's Awareness Month. I thought that would tie nicely with this hot dog event. And then we're going to be having some educational programs in July, August from Alzheimer's Association too. So yeah, they just want to know if the library wants to have a table from 10:30 to 4. I've talked to the staff. We're thinking, oh yeah, we can trade out, and kind of do outreach, and be out with the people and bring stuff, library of things stuff for.
I work that day, but as soon
Okay.
as I get done with work, I'd be happy to come by. So
Okay.
I'm not sure.
I can definitely stop
I can give
by.
you an idea of more of the
Okay.
time, but I would
Yeah.
say in the 2 to 4 range. But
That's great.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
do probably sometime in the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, just email me and I'll keep track. But last year, I think was the first, I think last, no, was it last year? It was either the year before or last year where they had the first time they did a drive-through because it was kind of coming out of COVID. So you could just drive up, and enter where the buses kind of come in and get your order and then drive down to the table and pick it up and then go out. It was very efficient, but I was like, this is slick,
Yeah.
because usually I
Yeah.
walk down and get my hot dogs and sit around and everyone is there.
okay.
Everyone is there.
All right, great. Well,
That's
thank you
cool.
for being involved and being a part of it.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
So, let's see. Oh, yeah. I started typing up notes to our department heads meetings and posting them for the staff.
Oh, I like that idea. So they can see what you guys are talking about with.
Yeah, my link didn't work last Friday, so I have a hard copy up now, but that's our intention, just to say, here's kind of how the process of decisions came through or came about.
Great.
I don't have anything else underlined here, but if you have any questions about anything in the report, I'm happy to answer that.
Okay. Any questions for Yvette? No. Okay, great. Thanks, Yvette. Let's see. Treasurer's report.
All right. All right. I have the balance sheet. And this is for the month of April. The fines account started with $6,886.77. And we concluded the month with $6,216.52. And then special started with $49,120.08. And then finished with $49,048.70. And there's nothing in particular that happened odd this month.
Okay.
Yeah. Nothing.
Any questions for Janet about the treasurer's report? Else? No. Okay. All right. We're moving right along. Let's see. Acceptance of minutes. Thank you to Jen for the great minutes. So we have 3 minutes to accept. We have the ones from April.
That sounded funny.
Why?
I was like, we have 3 minutes.
Oh,
8
3
o'clock.
minutes to accept. Well, we are. It is 3 of 8, and I do like to be done by 8, but no, we're going to be a few more minutes than that. Okay, we have 3 sets of minutes to accept. Let me clarify. So we have April 18th, our public meeting. Were there any questions, concerns, or comments?
I didn't.
That you did a great job. They're very comprehensive,
Oh,
so I appreciate that very much. Okay, I will make a motion that we accept the minutes from our April 18th public meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? Okay, all those in favor? 400. Thank you so much. We also had non-public meeting minutes from that same day, April 18th. Any comments, questions, concerns? Okay, I'll make a motion that we accept the non-public meeting minutes from April 18th.
I'll second.
A little bit quicker. She got you. Oh, that's it. Touch you back. Okay. Any comments or questions on the non-public? Okay. All those in favor? 400. Great. Thank you. And then we had the minutes from the trustee retreat on May 2nd. Okay. Just just for people's knowledge, I'm just going to mention a couple of things that were in here, things that the trustee board decided to work on. We made a motion to have the following goals for the library board of trustees. We're going to work on creating a salary development plan, begin working on our strategic plan, schedule time to review our energy audit, and put out an RFP for the HVAC system. Those were the 4 things that we talked about having as our goals. So I just wanted to make sure people were kind of seeing what we talked about. We talked about our finances, that sort of thing. So, okay. Thank you again for doing these. And I will make a motion that we accept the retreat meeting minutes from May
Second.
2nd. Are there any comments or corrections for Jen? Okay, all in favor? Once again, 400. Thank you, Jen.
You're welcome. You guys were easy.
Let's see. So moving on to committee updates, we have the Building Exploratory Committee is just on here as a placeholder. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library, they have their book sale coming up on June 16th. The Merrimack Public Library Development Fund Committee has not met since our last meeting. The Town Center Committee, I did go to the Town Center Committee meeting. It was very interesting. I'm really glad I went. There was a lot of discussion about many things, sidewalks, plans for the trail, the Wildcat Falls Trail that connects, discussion about the intersection, the Wallace Wire Road. I'm always getting confused. That's Wire and it turns
Wire
into
Road,
Wallace.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wire Road near the MYA. There was also some discussion about the expansion of Route 3 and how that would affect us and changes in bridges. So I feel like there's a lot of moving parts, lots of things going on. And I'm just so impressed. Like the knowledge of our Director of Public Works is just amazing, amazing. So it was a really informative and interesting meeting and it was great to attend. So I really enjoyed it. So yeah. I highly recommend people watch it. It's really fascinating. All the things that you hear going on in the background. It's really cool. All right. Library Board of Trustee committee updates. Personnel Committee has not had to meet. Finance Committee, which is Janet and I right now, will be meeting with Yvette and other department heads to work out the plan for the staffing situations. That's really all that's on the agenda. Is there anything else before we review our action items? Oh, there was Kathy's other request. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Janet. The foreign language.
Yeah, so if you want to look at a demo, we can set that up. It looks great. These were all in many, many world languages. Oh, geez. So, if you want to do a demo of this product, then we can set that up. I tucked that paper somewhere now. Oh, here we go. This is the Lote for kids. It's e-picture books, digital picture books for children in world languages, including sign language. And Kathy and her staff have reviewed it and they love it. This really solves a problem for us because you can't collect as many languages as probably you have in your community. She has already identified which languages we have in our community, and to be able to point them to a digital collection would be fantastic. And I don't remember if I included the price, but she did get the quote and it was like $600.
It's $650.
$650, yeah.
Which, that's really good. That's very exciting. So, do you want to see a trial?
I would. I totally would.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
totally into that.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay, great.
I'd also like to just throw out, at least based off the numbers, there's still trust money.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's great.
at least look. I mean, from what I see, it looks like there's trust money. So not that we couldn't find this some other place, it just spend it. That's all.
That'd be a nice use.
Great. Thanks
Okay.
for bringing that up, remembering that. I had forgotten. Thank you. Okay, so our action items for May. I'm going to reach out to Deb Hoadley to see if July 18th works for her and how long that will be for us. On June 6th, we're going to be meeting with Iris, we think. Let's see, I'll just say that the Merrimack Public Library was nominated for Nonprofit of the Year by the, I want to make sure I get the right words right. Is it the Greater Merrimack?
Sauhegan Valley.
Thank you, Sauhegan Valley Chamber of Commerce. And some of us will be attending the banquet on May 5th, oh my goodness, June 5th at Hampshire Hills. So those are just upcoming things, not necessarily action items, but I don't think there's that much for action items for us we're meeting next week. Is there anything else? Yvette will set up a trial and let us know about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just confirming Iris.
Yeah. More just scheduling type
Just
things.
scheduling, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have two other things under comments when you're ready.
Okay. I'll go ahead and say the upcoming events. Friends of the Merrimack Public Library will be meeting May 22nd at 7 p.m. in the director's office. Are you able to go as our rep? Thank you. The Friends of the Library book sale will be June 16th on Friday for members and the 17th Saturday for the public. And our next monthly meeting will be June 20th at 7 p.m. here. Okay, comments. Oh, sorry.
Are the Friends taking donations?
For what?
Their
Oh, for the
sale?
book sale? Yeah, they take it all year round.
Okay, just confirming.
The Friends are taking donations, yes.
So I'm just going to pass around your updated contact list. And then this also, there are 2 pages. This also came, Paul sent out the town council retreat agenda. And they're having the retreat on the 21st of June. And Paul asked for departments to send in reports. The library, because we're governed by the Board of Trustees, we, as a courtesy, have always sent them an update. Usually it's an update regarding the building. So if you want to draft something, I mean, I don't know what you want to say to them, but it would be appropriate for us to send.
Okay.
Here's a little something of, just so that we can keep them informed, and we have done it in the past.
Okay, so I will put that on my list of things to do
Just
to
send
work
to
on
Paul.
a draft anyways of what's going on for
Yep.
the library for the town council retreat.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Is that it? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we're going, sorry, last thing, we're going to be doing our staff evaluations in June.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else? Okay, then I'll make a motion that we adjourn the meeting at 8:08.
I'll second.
Okay, any comments? Anything else? Okay, all those in favor? 400. Great. Thank you.